In this lesson, we're going to talk about data denormalization. Now, previously, we've talked about data normalization, but in this case, we want to talk about the benefits of denormalizing your data. Now, data denormalization occurs whenever you take data and you make it so it is not structured into tables using normalization. This means your denormalized data is going to have a lot of redundancies and repetitive data. Now, before we talked about the fact that we want to minimize this or remove this denormalized data and create normalized data because it makes it easier for us to search through and find information. It takes a lot less room to store all of it because you're just linking to different references instead of putting the entire amount of data back into that table. But there are some cases where you may want to use denormalized data. For example, as a data analyst, when you run your queries and you get back all of the information, for example, all the payments that a student has made, you want to know every single time they made a payment. And yes, it may be repetitive if they've made 3 payments and all of them were $1,500 each. But you need to know that so you can then count those up and say they've paid $4,500, for example. That's the idea with data denormalization. It's when we go back through all of our different tables, pull that data back out, and then make it so it's redundant again so we can then read it in a more human readable form. Now, when we do this, this is not considered a design flaw. In fact, this is using the system as designed. We want to go through using querying and pull out all of the data, whether it's repetitive or not, from all of those different source tables and join that information back together so we can now go and analyze it in its entirety. When you start dealing with big data and you move into data warehouse, data mining, data analysis, and data visualization, you need every single time that result occurred, and that means you need the denormalized data set. The good news, though, is that you can do this very easily by structuring your SQL queries and pulling that information back out of the database into a format that you can read, either in a report or a spreadsheet or a data visualization dashboard. And we'll talk about all of those later on when we get into the reporting and dashboard section of the course.